when we look into the leadership of India, we are looking at the exemplary work done by Prime Minister Modi ji, which needs to be recognized from the perspective of consciousness. So when we say consciousness, which you could say is the bedrock of peace, we are looking at it from the perspective of the quality of belief system, the quality of thoughts. Every product, we can say, be determined by a way of quality. But what about the thought process itself? Shouldn't even thoughts have quality to it? So in a nation like ours, we revere Mahatma Gandhi ji for ahimsa. We think of him as the father of a nation because he showed the way to be together. That is one as ahimsa. We venerate women. We worship women as Shakti. When we treat women with equality, respect, and veneration, there is happiness, inclusivity, righteousness in a community. Likewise, when we talk about consciousness, we are talking about how we can coexist, how we can celebrate all religions, all paths to be celebrated. How do we do that? When we recognize the basic principle of our culture. No God, Goddess, divine is within each one of us. So it doesn't matter for us which way we worship God. It does not matter. It does not even matter if somebody does not worship God. That is freedom of thought. So when we say consciousness, we are looking at these basic principles that allows us to coexist. Now when we as declaration of consciousness, as a movement, when we evaluate leadership, Prime Minister Modi ji shows his exemplary ability to lead India through the various initiatives. And these initiatives, we look into it as from the factual end of points. Like for instance, when we say the COVID diplomacy, we were able to support so many nations by giving them the COVID vaccine. Now what is not normal in the West is the ability to give for free. And we did it. We gave it to all nations for free, without making it a big news, without making a big deal, because it was a part of our nature. Prime Minister Modi ji mentions we cannot profit from others' suffering, and it is only a nature to do good. So when you look into the various initiatives he's taken, every one of those initiatives is that which should be recognized, that which should inspire generations to come all across the globe. And most important is our Indian narrative. So when we look at Operation Sindoor, just when we had the absolute upper hand, we declared a ceasefire. To make a decision to go for a ceasefire when we had an absolute upper hand meant a deeper truth. The deeper truth was suddenly knowing that Operation Sindoor was not between India and Pakistan. There was China involved. There were other countries involved. And they all wanted India to go into prolonged war. So, at the time when we had upper hand, Modi ji declared ceasefire to avert not only civilian casualty on both sides, but most important, to avert Third World War. Third World War passed by us, and it passed through without it being proclaimed. Operation Sindoor did the job. That Prime Minister Modi ji needs to take credit. So like this is each of the initiatives we have pointed out in the paper here that we have given. So based on these points that we have over here, I would request you to go through it, because each of these points have been verified for what it is, and what we suggest for each of us is to go through the Declaration of Consciousness site, and when we are convinced, yes, that Prime Minister Modi ji needs to have the Nobel Peace Prize, please fill in the nominations individually and allow for the recognition of Prime Minister Modi ji, and especially our culture, our philosophy that needs to be learnt world over. What does Mother India mean?